Art is such a big, complicated topic that encompasses so many other things. It's so hard to define, but the teachers and students at Loveland High gave it a try.
It can be many different things to many different people.
Art is perceived as something very small, but I think art is actually something that is much bigger.
To me, art is one of the most important forms of communication.
Capturing an idea that you wish to express with others into a physical form.
Kind of a general rule globally, people use it to express themselves, thoughts or feelings or emotions, any expression of self.
Like dancing, writing, engineering, everything.
It requires thought, it requires reflection. It is supposed to be innovative, which means you're creating something from nothing, so creating things that haven't existed before.
It's basically life put in the form of something else that's beautiful.
And it has made my life much more exciting than I ever thought could be possible.
So that's great, we know what art is, but the real question is, why is it important?
We as a society, I suppose, look to other people, and if we weren't able to look at other people's self-expression, then it would be pointless, I think.
We're able to touch people from different cultures, different races without the use of words, so it becomes something that allows us to connect with other people.
It applies to everything. It teaches us how to observe and to constructively criticize.
Because it challenges you to not just demonstrate a skill, but to have intent behind what you're doing.
You get out what you put into it. Like if you invest your soul into a piece of art and it helps you like understand yourself or how to express yourself or whatever, I think that's just as important, if not more important, as understanding like why this triangle makes sense geometrically.
It's the basics of how we form and identify ourselves. It's how we express ourselves and work together as a society.
Because I think without art, I would be completely out of place.
It's given me lots of opportunities in my life and has really made my life worth living, I'd say.
So it seems that everyone agrees that art is an important subject. With that being said, should we require it in our high schools?
You should be required to take at least one. I think it's important that you at least try it.
I think that art classes should be there for anybody to use them, but I think we should have a basic class, an entry-level class that everyone should take, because I myself, I wasn't like, I want to be an artist when I grow up, and just a little adventure into the world can change your perspective entirely.
Even if they have grown up thinking, you know, oh, art's for the weird art kids and I'm a jock, so I can't do art because I'm too cool for that. But a lot of times there will be people who will actually experience art in some way and it'll change their whole lives.
And I think students really need balance. When we lean too far to one end of the spectrum, then we really start to lose the individual.
Definitely be required to take some sort of design or artistic class, but whether that's video, cinematography, or painting or drawing, or a wood shop or anything, it should be applicable to the student.
They should have choice. While they are young adults, I don't think that they necessarily always make the right choices. So sometimes we have to make that choice for them and expose them to things that they may not had any idea about, or they may have a misconception about. But that's our responsibility, to expose them to it and give them the choice thereafter to either embrace it or say, okay, I understand it, but that's not for me.
I don't know, require some to get basic knowledge, but we shouldn't force it on the students, because if we start forcing things, then things get standardized and it's just a big mess.
If we did require more art classes, we would have to make them pretty versatile.
I think art classes should be required.
Whether or not you believe that it should be required in high school, do you think that art will help you in your future career?
Most common jobs that are just simple and don't require creativity are going to be phased out by technology sooner or later. I design server worlds hubs and mini game maps and all of that for players just with blocks and everything, and it's self-commissioned work. It is a great job. Much better than working at McDonald's or anything.
There's hardly anything that doesn't involve some form of art. I mean, architecture, journalism, anything, writing, any type of music, acting, it's all a form of art.
Well, I want to go into art, so that's a big thing, right?
And artists are working in all kinds of industries, whether it be the technology industry, in design, or whether it be in architecture or in science. It's the same. It's about how you think.
I want to be an ER physician, and that's a lot of memorization of the body and how it works and why it works. And everything that I've ever learned from my biology teachers and my anatomy teacher is that drawing it helps you know it. If you can draw it, you know it.
The world currently is faced with so many problems, including climate change, pollution, and all these factors that keep getting worse, and we need to collectively make lots of problem solvers and thinkers in the next few generations of students to solve these problems.
Art is about how you approach things. It's not just a bunch of hipsters living in their mom's basement.
We know what the education system is like now, but what do you think it'll become? What do you want it to become?
I used to have very high hopes for our future generation, but now things look bleak.
I have so many problems with the education system, I cannot even start.
Schools are cutting out art programs completely, whether it's the theater program or the music program or visual arts. Some schools don't have any of that.
I feel like we're making decisions based upon funding, which is directly influenced by data collecting, and while we're so focused on data, we've lost the individual.
But if we say that we value creative problem solving, if we say that we value students struggling and falling and getting back up and reflecting on all of those things, if we say that we value collaboration with disciplines, then those things are the things that need to happen.
And realistically, it's not much different, they're gonna do the same thing because it works well enough and they're not gonna fix what isn't broken.
We're so consumed with justifying why we have a job. Data has to support why we're good teachers, and they're constantly changing the target as to what it means to be a good teacher, and also changing the target as what does it mean to be a proficient student in a certain subject. We're using different tests all the time, and we're constantly changing things that we never can see anything kind of fully come to fruition. And we're losing kids.
But in an ideal world, I guess, there would be ability for students to choose their own path, which is hard because we are young and we don't really know what we want to do, but it's easier if we were given an education system that gave us a step-by-step, what do you want to do right now, and then follow that and see. And there would be less consequences for mistakes in an ideal education too.
Without people, our hallways are quiet. Without art, our hallways are desolate. You cannot have art without people, nor people without art.
Yeah, I mean, it's art. Who cares?
Art matters.
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 My name is Shalane Flores, and I'm a senior here at Loveland High. And I made this video to hopefully convince you of one thing, that art matters.